I'm Eric.
And I'm Steve.
Dominaria top picks.
Let's talk about it.
Welcome, Planeswalkers, to the Collectormania YouTube channel. My name is Eric Ward and Steve Morrison. If you're one of the 24 new subscribers since last week, thanks for joining us.
Yep.
And yeah, if you guys like us, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. We always want to hear what you want us to talk about. And click on Patreon in the link below if you're interested.
Yep.
So
We're going to go over our top picks for Dominaria. We're pretty much sure the entire set is out. You know, that's actually really important. We'll probably get a bunch of commons and uncommons tomorrow, which I guess there could potentially be some uncommon legendaries in there somewhere. But really, for the most part, I think we're missing, like, what, 23 cards?
yeah.
Usually the last day is just a dump of, like, here's a
The
common
extra
spell
stuff.
that doesn't matter any.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
we'll see what happens, but so far these are our top picks. We're going to go through Eric's first. He's chosen some cards that are interesting to him.
Yes.
And that's basically what this video is about. So if we miss something, like, I don't know, I don't think either one of us chose Muldrotha or anything like that. Just because we didn't pick it. It's not that it's a bad card or anything like that. It's just not on our radar.
What we're excited to see, yeah.
Yeah.
So, of course, Grun here, Lonely King, just kind of neat. Initially, they thought he was rare, and I'd kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
You know, he can essentially be a 10-10. When he swings alone, he can be like a 20-20. So
So this is an Eric card.
Yeah.
I can tell you that just from playing with Eric.
yeah, very, like, you introduced me to the term Battleship Magic.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
this card makes sense. Suit him up, keep him safe just a little bit, try to get through, or just swing at somebody with the biggest thing and try to kill it or whittle somebody's board away. Super cool.
Any Pauper Commander plans with this guy?
I don't know. Probably just a regular commander.
No
if
Pauper to
anything.
power.
My brain doesn't think that way, I guess. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I guess when I think of Pauper to power, it's like a way to hone a deck.
Yeah.
So, like, if you started out with this guy in, like, a common setting, and then were to upgrade it through time like we do in our regular series
Yeah.
anyway, I don't know. I think that could be kind of
Yeah,
cool.
I think he'd be a beast in Pauper.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like a 5/5 for 6 that can potentially, like, just destroy everyone.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
A cheap way to give it trample or something, and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, you're dead.
And you saw how slow the Pauper games
Oh,
were in
yeah.
the beginning.
Like,
This could be Boss Hog, really.
yeah, kicker for 9. I don't know. Like,
Eh.
that can happen.
I
for
mean,
sure.
there's still ramp, so...
Oh yeah, like he's very attainable. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't. We were trying to do all our brews and stuff, and to me, I immediately think of how can I get this into 100 regular cards, you know, because that's my realm of comfort, I guess. So.
Yeah.
But he's cool.
Yeah, so we'll move on to our next one here.
Yep.
This guy, I think, is also really awesome. So
Yeah, Valduk, of course. Initially, you know, Steve brought up a really good point. I tried to do kind of an aura artifact build, and Steve said, you know, artifacts or auras are cool, but if he dies, which he probably will, you're gonna lose your your auras. So when I build him, and I'll be posting the deck list and the video and stuff, he has got all artifacts now.
some mono red mud, like
Yes.
it should be.
Like it should be. And you know, I was thinking about that too. Like red is so strong in the artifact realm, and then this guy, like, I've done that a little bit in Ben, but I tried it as much as I could and included cards that I've never done before, like Duretti or like Scrap Mastery and stuff. Like Valduk, he's sweet. I think he's really cool. I think a lot of people would like to play. Well, I think he lends himself to a lot of people's, like, oh my god,
Yeah.
like.
Well, he's
you
a
know.
it's like a weird go wide Voltron strategy.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you get the tokens to attack with regardless. I mean, as long as you got equipment on him, you get them. So
Yep.
it's like, oh, that's cool. And he's swinging as well, so
Yep.
he's your main focus, but they're just like a secondary thing.
And he doesn't have to swing necessarily, but
That's
like,
true.
you want him to because he's Voltroned up to the teeth, you know. So,
And
oh,
not
gosh.
bad stats for 3. I mean,
No.
a 3/2 for 3 isn't terrible at all.
And he's a shaman.
Yeah.
So,
Next
yeah.
one?
Yes, very cool. Fire Song and Sun Speaker, of course. This is the buy box promo. Really cool. Like, I haven't brewed this one yet, but it is one I'm going to take down. I like the fact that it kind of, like, completes the arc between, like, a white-red spell deck.
Yeah.
As far as beefing up the white or the red, or excuse me, the white and then the red, it kind of just makes it a full circle and kind of makes those spells really interesting. So, it's cool.
So for those of you who don't know, Eric has yet to really bring himself up into the 21st century of
Oh,
Commander
yeah.
Magic.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping that we can build this deck and get you playing it so you have something that's a little bit more modern.
I'm trying to think of my newest commander.
Well, it'd be Depala, but I mean, that was kind of
Kaladesh.
more of like a failed experiment because I mean, you didn't really care for it too much. And...
It's good, and I think I told you, like, I played against my wife, and she was playing Narset, and that deck, you know, and hers isn't super tuned either, but like, vehicles are gross, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna put this away now. Like, but yeah, DePaul I think is my newest deck, and Firesong and Sunspeaker has a chance. Like, it's cool. I mean, Minotaurs are sweet, man.
It's already, besides Avacyn, I think this is the best Boros commander. I just have a thing for Avacyn. Like, that card to me is awesome, but this card definitely seems like something like it's like a legit threatening Boros commander, which isn't common at all.
Yeah, like if you think of like Tajik, he's kind of cool, and then Adriana's kind of cool, and
what's the giant?
Kalimni.
Yeah, I think she's pretty cool as well, but still, it's very combat focused, and you know exactly what they're doing. Where with this, it's just like, holy crap!
It's all around like crazy, and it's new. It's not. It isn't combat. It isn't a creature or multiple creatures swinging again, which we always talk about. I've had enough of that, so it's cool.
Next one.
Ariel, Knight of Windgrace. You did the deck tech on this one, right?
I'm putting it together now. It's not up quite yet. We do have the brew preview up so far, which, you know, it's very much just Knight Tribal. I mean, that's the way I would play it, and I would assume that's probably what you're thinking as well.
Yeah, like, you know, throw as many good white and black Knights as you can in there, and then if you can give them Vigilance as well, like, not just making the tokens with Vigilance, like, this is a really, really good... really good commander.
It's like there's just a ton of like stacking buffs in that whole tribe. You know, it's just like, oh, give all my creatures +1/+1. Give all my creatures vigilance. Give all my creatures double strike. Give all my give all my first strike creatures double strike. You know, so on and so forth.
Yeah, especially with this set.
Yeah, and black white, it's a pretty powerful pair. I mean, the white gives you all the destruction. Same with black, and then you get a lot of card draw through black, and then you get like all the life gain through white, I guess, and black. So I mean, the two colors work really well for the strategy. Yeah, you can
kind of go wide, like you said. And how many black decks have you run against that run like a Butcher Malakir or something that now my 2/2 Knight is dead, like lose your best creature all of a sudden, like, or your only creature.
Gotcha.
It's really nuts. Like,
I love the artwork for this thing too.
It's fantastic.
That black cat. It's just like, oh my gosh.
So this one will be pretty curious to see. I think a lot of people will gravitate towards this as well. People love tribal. I think Knights is kind of like an odd tribe, but now they're getting a lot of buffs. So
yeah, we're gonna need, just trying to build the deck list, we're gonna need like a few that aren't triple white, triple black, double white. I mean, that's the one thing that's holding me back when I'm building it, because it's just like, my mana has to be perfect.
Oh yeah, a lot of dual lands, a lot of like pain maybe. It's tricky.
Yeah.
Next, Multani. Boy, there's a couple ways to go with this. I kind of went with a landfall version, but one thing that, you know, makes perfect sense is if you've just got Evolving Wilds and Strip Mines and sack to do this type lands, and then you're just bringing them back into play, or even just like a big, like a mulch type deck, like, there's a lot of ways you can go with this.
It's kind of funny. I look at this. Is it better in the 99 for Titania, or is it better than Titania? And it's just like, I don't know.
If you go that way, I think Titania is still better. Like, he would be a good include in that deck.
Yeah.
Because of course, if the land's in play, great. If it's in your graveyard, great. Because maybe Titania gave you something, and now he's just as big. Like, you know, if you sack an Evolving Wilds, like, if let's say you don't have anything else, but now he's going to have 2 power, 2 toughness, where he could have had just 1. You know, and then Titania can give you stuff too. I think you're right. Overall, I think Titania is a better choice, but he's still a sweet card. And in fact, there's another version of him and another like Morrow Sorcerer that I included in my build as well. So check those guys out. And they kind of revolve around the same thing, like power from land, that sort of stuff.
That's cool.
Boy.
Slinvada.
Yeah. So, the Rising Deep, he's super cool. Kind of goofy. I'd say he's a little bit of a pet commander, in my opinion. He costs 8, and then you can kick him for 10. But you get to, like, what is that, Whelming Wave, pretty much, for anything that's not a sea creature. Not all sea creatures, but...
It's Merfolk, Krakens, Leviathans, Octopuses, and Serpents.
Yeah. And a long time ago, I wanted to make, because Commander... I was scrolling through the Gatherer for all their creature types, and it's like, Homerid, starfish, fish, like Leviathan, sponge. Like there's all these weird creature types. So
Under the sea.
I thought it, yeah, really, like an under the sea commander deck. You said people aren't freaking out about this for a popper choice, right?
They are actually, surprisingly. A lot of people
Okay.
have been pretty excited about this. I think it's because of the effect. I mean, if you think about popper commander, there's really not a whole lot of like board wipes.
Yeah.
So having your commander be a board wipe, and yeah, it costs a lot of mana to get there, but really there's a lot of artifact mana ramp in that,
Yeah.
I guess format.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's possible, it's doable
Yes.
at least, and having an 8/8 as your commander is also a pretty good choice in a format that's pretty light on removal as far as like good removal. It's got decent, but not as good as normal. Of course,
Right.
there's no Swords to Plowshares, so you're not going to get got by that.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of an odd choice. I love the art. I think that's super crazy.
Yeah. I like the fins; they remind me of Godzilla.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, the spines on his back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely a neat one. I don't know if it'll be a hit, but it's one that kind of caught my eye.
pet project, like you said.
Yes. Benelesh Marshall. I just like White Weenie. That's what I used to play in Standard. So this will probably go into my Darien deck.
Yep. I mean, other creatures get +1/+1. I love that it's not tribal, which is awesome.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Like, because having
Another
this only be
Soldier Lord or
knights would have been
something.
like,
Yeah, that would suck.
So
Yeah, it's neat, and I like the cycle. This whole well, not all of the cycle. I think they're cool creations, but they may not have as big an influence. I think even this guy's maybe the second or third best one.
yeah, I think this one and the mono green one are the ones that are gonna like hit standard at least.
Yeah.
The other three, the red one is not very good in my opinion at all. The blue one can be good, and
Yeah.
the black one I think is amazing. But
Yep.
that's just because I like the shade effect.
Yeah.
The pay one get +1/+1. I think that's awesome, especially since it's a 3/3.
Yeah. And it's fair. I think triple
Yeah.
white is cool. I like that stuff. Making people choose to do stuff is cool.
Yeah.
Two-headed giant. I love the art. I love the flavor text, and I love flipping coins. Like, it's so cool. And
There
it's-
aren't very many of these in Magic.
No,
so
there
It's just cool.
or ones that are useful. I mean,
Yeah.
like Menace or what, Double Strike.
Yeah.
That's super cool. And it's a warrior. I love those auto equips.
Yeah.
So you can use is it veterans armaments? I think,
I
or no,
believe
it's the Obsidian Battle Axe.
Yes, that's right.
They're the ones the soldiers. So, not that that's. I just love that value.
Yeah.
They're not all great cards, but it's a cool interaction, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. Artwork is awesome.
We'll take Servant. I kind of like this one. This has caught my eye for like a Shroom build. There's a lot of stuff that I do tapping on my turn, and sometimes like I'll run out of an untap or something. I usually use like Voltaic Key or a 1,000-year elixir or something. But if you get to just untap something, that's pretty good. I like the art too.
Well, it's not bad for like filling out your curve too, because it is
Yeah.
just a 2-drop and an artifact deck. Like if you, for example, if you're looking at like building Brawl right now, like this is actually just an auto include in an artifact build. So like if you're building Jorah Brawl, like this is just going in there automatically
Yeah.
because it's filling out a curve essentially.
Yeah.
And it's not bad. 1/3.
Yeah, and you could even if you're short on casting something, once say you play him, you can untap like a rock, and then next turn you might have, or during your opponent's turn, you might have like an island or something, and then an untapped rock that you could use now that he's in. So
To like respond to something with a
yeah,
spell or something.
yeah, or even swing through, and who knows? Like,
Yeah.
it's curious.
Well, I think, and there's the new commander that got released here yesterday, the Vorix artifact dude, the 7/7.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Doesn't untap on his own. Like being able to play this guy, untap your commander, swing with your commander, end step, untap your commander.
Now you've
That's
got
pretty good
a
line of play.
7/7 vigilant guy
Yeah.
for. Normally, you've got to play a historic or an artifact or something.
Correct.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, just an interesting way to look at it.
Skidding Surveyor, just comes into play, gets a land from library to hand. Not bad. It'd be cool to recur a number of times.
Yeah.
Just kind of a solid creature,
I just keep looking at it as Popper. I mean,
Yeah.
another card that just kind of increases the pool for Popper and actually playing good cards.
Is he common?
Yeah, I believe so, because it doesn't look very silver to me.
Okay. Yeah, and I know they have sometimes needed to change their set symbol if it's too crazy for the common indicator, so
Yeah.
we'll see. Boy. There's a lot of cool equipment so far, and I'm hoping the last like 20 to 40 cards or whatever have some other, at least one interesting one as well. Blackblade Reforged, 2 cost, and really we're looking at the 3 to equip, I think, for the most part. it's like a Stratocythe for your legendary creatures essentially, but not like linked to a type of land essentially. So it's cool. I like it.
This seems like something Garrick should have in his possession.
Yeah.
Instead of Gideon, because I know the flavor text is like says it's in Gideon's hands essentially, so it's just like, oh, that's interesting, but this seems like a Garrick thing.
Yeah.
You know, like get it, kill everything.
Yeah, I guess I didn't look at it, the flavor text, but yeah, he kind of seems like just kill everybody now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks kind of sinister for sure.
Yeah.
Helm of the Host, of course. I think we had the podcast, little video cast last week, and everybody was talking about this. Like, it's literally endless as far as what you can do with this. I think it will be a huge hit.
This is a Commander staple already.
Oh, yeah.
There's no question about that. It's so good. It's so ridiculous.
I don't think it'll be banned, which is good. It's pretty fair with a high cast, high equip. But yeah, I mean, like, who doesn't want two of their favorite commander? Like, just think of a deck. Think of your opponent's, like, your friend's worst deck. Imagine them having two of their commander. Like, it's going to be sweet. If you get them, keep them. If you have foils, keep them. I'm looking for a foil. Like,
yeah.
I'm sure it'll be, $20 to $30 or something insane.
Yeah. The freaking artwork on this card, too, is just amazing.
It reminds me of some of the playmats you used to do.
Yep.
Oh, so cool. It's great. Oh, man. Mox Amber, I know Steve and I kind of both skipped this one. It's obviously a very good card. They wouldn't put Mox on it otherwise. Yeah. It's free. There's a big restriction, but for us Commander players, it's probably not a big deal. And the thing that I was thinking about is who's the one drop? The new one from Kaladesh. She's the green elf.
Yeah, I know. She's actually a human artificer.
Okay.
I can't remember her name, but I know exactly. It's like Parashi or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, like legendaries like Isamaru is a great example.
Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Turn 1 plains, Isamaru, Mox Amber. Then you've got a 1 for a Soul's Attendant or something.
Well, a lot of people are saying turn 1 this Isamaru, then Savannah Lions.
Yeah.
Or like freaking Kytheon or something like that.
Yeah, that's a really good play.
Like that's a really good line of play. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll probably play this in my Thalia 1v1 deck because I think it'd be great there because I mean Thalia is always going to be a 2-cast.
Yeah.
So even if you're just throwing this out on turn 1 to do nothing with it, which most likely I will be playing Isamaru, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's still great. I mean, you can still it almost gets around that curve of like having that extra mana that Thalia is taking away from you for like your Swords to Plowshares and such. But
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, or Sun Titan on turn 4 or whatever if you're or 5 if you're ramping a little bit.
Yeah,
could be really good as well.
Especially in an off color, like I don't know if a green deck would need this because usually you could see those quick plays in a green deck, or at least on turn 2 if you do have a legendary that costs 2 or something like.
The only thing that kind of is weird to me about it is like you're holding it back until you can cast your commander. Right. That's the only thing. Unless you just want to throw it out there, which is totally fine too. But then if you look at it that way, you're essentially taking a card out of your hand for like 3 turns, which kind of feels bad sometimes too.
Yeah.
Plus, it has the potential of getting shattered or something like that.
Up.
So,
because somebody odds are is you're not just going to play this; you're going to utilize it.
Yeah.
Because somebody could say, "Okay," it's just like if somebody's got a bird, you're going to be like, "I'm gonna hit this." Like they need this for a reason.
Yeah.
They need their Mox Amber for a reason. I'm sure this will be an influential card.
Like I said, I see 1v1 purposes pretty much exclusively. I mean, I don't really think it's necessary in multiplayer. Like. Obviously, you want, if you're looking Soul Ring this, you want Soul Ring, like all the time, even though this taps for a colored mana. But at the same time, when this is actually relevant, it's already a little too late.
Yep.
So I don't know. I'd
agree. Yeah. Cool card.
Yeah.
Maybe not for multiplayer.
Yeah. I mean, well, I have to play with it to really know. So that's the other thing, too, is a lot of these cards, like it's hard to estimate their power without actually seeing them do their thing. So
yeah, I do agree. One interesting one. This reminds me of my Capricious Ifrit that I like. Yeah. I had to read this like 3 times, and Steve's like, "Dude, it just does this." Like, comes into play. Put 4 aim counters on something at the beginning of your end step. If 2 or more permanents you don't control have aim counters on them, destroy one of those at random, essentially. So, kind of interesting, kind of cool. It's red.
It's very slow, which with the restriction on it, I would think it would cost like 4 or even lower.
Yeah.
Just because like 6, I mean, in Commander that's okay, but normal formats this is terrible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'll destroy half of what I actually want to at a very slow pace.
Yes.
So, I don't know. It's an interesting enchantment, though. It's different.
Yeah, very curious.
Works into the chaos strategy.
Yes, it does.
Which chaos decks are already fun, so
Yeah.
this is just a good include there, really.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now we're moving on to mine. So this, I kind of went in order of like my favorite as far as like types. So we're going to go through my legendary creature choices. So honestly, this is my favorite commander coming out of the set. I mean, Tatyova is just ridiculous. Like the fact that playing a land draws you a card and gains you a life. I thought I lost my mind when I saw Jorah. And then they spoiled this thing, and I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, really.
This to me is like perfect. It is Simic. It's just, yeah.
Who could complain, really? Like, yeah, very strong card.
It's another one that I think the Pauper community should be freaking out about, because it's really just playing a land to do all that is, I mean, a great ability.
Yeah.
This becomes your card draw engine. You don't really even necessarily need any of that. I mean, you're going to because it's commander, and you want to, you know, have different alternative routes to drawing cards, but really this commander should just get most of that done for you. Gaining one life almost like pushes it over the edge for me. I know that I'm probably just losing my mind, and this may not be that exciting for everybody else, but
I mean, if you think about it, like, what would you pay to gain a life? Or let's say 2 life. I think a mana to gain 2 life is pretty fair, right?
Yeah.
And now what would you pay to draw a card? Like
2 mana.
Yeah, I think 2 mana
easy.
is pretty typical, and the more you draw, the more it kind of like evens out a little bit. But now, if you put both of those effects on playing a land, like
just having a land enter the battlefield, it's not even play.
Yeah, so you could ramp into it or something.
Yeah, rampant growth now becomes go find a land or a basic land from your deck, put it into play, draw a card, and gain a life.
Right.
Explosive Vegetation turns into get 2 cards, gain 2 life, draw 2 cards. It's just like,
you think of Evolving Wilds, like play it, draw, gain, sack it, draw, gain.
Yeah. Fetch lands, like,
it's nuts. It's a very strong ability. Yeah, I would not be surprised if this, like we were talking about Tashana and Kamena as being like, wow, these are kind of merfolk beasts, and then like this card isn't as like beady or utility as those, but like this card is nuts. Like,
yeah, it goes in the merfolk deck, that's for sure, but I don't think it's a merfolk build. It's a very like landfall like build, and it just works amazingly.
Yeah, fantastic. I bet foils of this will be more expensive than you'd think.
Yeah,
you know?
I'll be looking for one, because this is probably like, well, it is my favorite commander from the set so far, unless they spoil something ridiculous in a couple of days. And then moving on, we've got Slimefoot the Stowaway. This is a personal choice for me. I mean, 100%. I have a Thalion deck that I've been playing for a very long time. It's always been very niche. Like, there aren't very many Saproling players out there, in my opinion. And then they released this, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's adorable, and it's just, the ability is ridiculous. I'm not going to replace my commander with this, but it's definitely going in the deck. I might be like on the minority there. But I can't part with Thalion. He's just too cool, and everybody just looks at him like, what the hell is that?
I love that feeling.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, what do you, your funguses get +1/+1 for each spore counter on them? Like, sure, whatever. This guy seems pretty terrible, Steve, but I don't know, he works in the deck. I may even just build a second deck with this guy, you know, because Saprolings are overall pretty cheap, and the amount of Saproling/fungus support that they're putting into this set is surprising, you know. Like, there's like 4 or 5 cards that just have to go into those decks for me now. So I think, you know, just from the response, even looking at like Mythic Spoiler, like, people love this card, and there's a good reason for it. I'm sure I'm going to run into a lot of Slimefoot Stowaway decks. Yeah. Which, you know, having experience in it, I'm definitely going to put the deck tech up and kind of like show my take on it. That might help some of you guys, you know, that are really interested in this card, kind of like figure out what I had to figure out the hard way, you know, the last couple of 5 years or so since I built that deck. So anyway, I'm losing my mind over this card. It's great. It's so cool. And then, of course, Jorah. This is kind of like a guilty pleasure for me. It's not usually a commander that I would pick just because it's so overtly powerful. You know, this is something that a lot of Storm players are going to try, a lot of Artifact players are going to try. If I do build the deck that I'm planning on, the one that's going to be probably release the deck tech on Saturday, like, it's going to be a beast. Like, there's like 4 infinite mana combos in the deck, and it's just all about like stealing everything with Memnarch, or milling everybody out with Blue Sun Zenith, or, you know, so on and so forth. Like, all those combos. it's gonna be a super competitive deck.
Yeah.
You know, there's not really a whole lot of options on it, in my opinion. It's very straightforward as far as the power level goes.
And a great supplement for if you do have like an Is It Mud deck or something, like clearly good. You think of like this with Jorien.
Oh yeah.
So it's just like I'm gonna play spells and then I'm gonna play artifacts and I'm gonna draw all the time. Like
I'm trying to even think of what would have been the past Is It artifact control or artifact commander, and there's not really a good choice in my opinion until this came out, and then it just blew the roof off of it. Because I mean, in the deck tech that I did, literally there are 2 permanent spells in the entire deck that don't draw you a card when you cast them. Everything else draws you a card when you cast it, because it's either an artifact creature or a legendary creature,
or like a saga if you wanted to include them or something.
I don't even have sagas in.
Yeah, and that's one other thing. I know you picked a couple sagas, but a lot of, to me, again, that's another one where I haven't wrapped my head around them quite yet. So.
They're different, and I think Enchantress builds are obviously going to love them. I mean, I picked 2 of them myself, and we'll get to them in a second, but they're very niche. They go into a certain type of strategy, and that's about it.
Yeah, especially the way they're built. That is certainly true.
Then we've got Adalez. This is my choice for 1v1 commander out of the set. It's just really powerful. Flying Haste on a 2/2 for 3 is actually really good. Plus it buffs all your other wizards. It's like double prowess for the most part.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Just a cool choice. Like I said, I wouldn't play this in multiplayer, but I definitely will play it in 1v1 for sure. Another one of my pet projects. This is kind of like your whale. This card has a lot of really good applications. I know that I messed up when I first saw it and thought of it as victimized. It's not victimized at all. It's the opposite of victimized, but still really powerful in my opinion. I mean, sacrificing 2 creatures to get back something that's really, really strong is an amazing ability. Like, think about this with like the Apostle.
The
Shadowborn Apostle.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a pretty good strategy. I'm not going to go that way. I'm just going to go mono black good stuff and just like try and do like a graveyard deck essentially and have a lot of fun that way. I love the artwork on this thing. I think I've said before, like, one of my D&D characters is called Whisper. Like, one of my enemies for like a lot of D&D stuff that I make up is Whisper. So it just like kind of worked all into one thing for me. So.
And great artwork.
Yeah.
The minute I saw it, I'm like, holy cow. And I had to click on it, you know?
Yeah.
I think this will be another, like, it'll be a cool foil. I'm glad it's uncommon, you know?
Yeah. And it's kind of funny, like, most of our choices have been uncommon legendaries if you look at them. Like, they're the ones that are kind of odd and crazy. Yeah. We had a conversation before we started this about, like, a lot of these cards are really cool and they have like really interesting abilities, but they seem very safe because they're not really going outside of the box too much.
Or they're very linear and in the set design, and that doesn't make it as interesting for Commander, I don't think. But
so it's like we're getting a whole bunch of really good stuff for strategies that already exist. You know, obviously there's been a few that we've shown that are completely different, but a lot of the big ones are kind of like Muldrotha to me is interesting, and it's obviously good, but is it like something I necessarily want to build because I already have the Carador build, I already have the Tasker build? Do I really need another graveyard deck like that, or Marin, you know, so on and so forth, even though he might be better than all 3 of those, but still. Yeah,
you say, like, I like this guy already, you know?
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. And I've got Jasu Vess. This card's insane. I think in the deck or as the commander. I lean more towards in the deck, personally, because I think he's just a huge threat late game. Yeah. You just cast it. I mean, it's just like having a creature version of Army of the Damned.
Yes.
I mean, that's essentially what it is. The fact that the zombies don't come into play tapped and they have Menace just pushes this over the top.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 mana for, like, a bunch of dudes and a 4/5 Menace dude, like, sign me up.
Yeah,
like,
really.
Zombie Tribal, here we go again, you know. Just put this in my Gissa and Geralf deck and I'll just run with it all the time.
and it could go with the, I forget her, Knight of Windgrace or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it's a knight. They're all knights. Yep. Like, man.
I'm going to have to make sure I put that on that list.
yeah, because I think when you first did the brew, it wasn't out.
No,
like,
it wasn't.
This guy's relatively new.
Yeah.
The art is sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the lore is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like you said, Army of the Damned on a guy. And yeah, it's really, really pricey, but who cares? Like, that is a sweet card.
Mean, you're getting 9 guys. All of them have Menace, a bunch of 2/2s, and a 4/5.
Yep.
Like, that's a lot of power for 10 mana.
Yeah,
like, it really is. That's,
But yeah, I think a very good bomb for late game. And imagine this in, like, red with like Ogre Battle Driver or
Yeah.
Hammer of Perforos or
God.
Urbrask.
Or just Pophoros.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, just
You could
Perforos.
probably just kill everybody with that.
Yeah, that'd be what? Like you said, 9 bodies?
Yeah, so 18 damage to everyone for casting this guy.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Ugh, so cool.
And Panharmonicon.
Oh, yeah, that'd be sweet. That would be awesome.
Okay, and then we've got Tashar. This is another commander that, funnily enough, I think is almost really good for 1v1. It's like right on the edge for me, because like that type of effect, like I love Sun Titan type effects.
Yeah.
And like having something trigger off of Historic, the only thing I kind of lack there is just that it doesn't really protect itself very well, and I always look for that in 1v1 commanders. Like you think about the choices that I picked so far, like we've got Geist Saint Draft was first, and then we had Sigarda, you know, so on and so forth. Like, yeah, I'm moving a little bit away from that because I'm starting to be a little bit more comfortable. I don't need all my commanders to have hexproof or whatever. But he is kind of small, so shock gets him.
Yep.
That's kind of an argument against it.
Yeah.
You know, lightning bolt just destroys this thing. There's a whole bunch of things that just like, oh, you're out of here. If it costs 3, obviously it'd be a different story.
Yeah, I
but
was gonna say 4 for a thing that could die to like a 1-mana spell.
yeah. So as far as multiplayer goes, I think it's doable. It's very specific.
Yes.
You're running very low curve at that point. Obviously, you're going to do some bigger stuff, but it's not bad. It's an interesting card. I love the ability. Like I said, Sun Titan effects have always been interesting to me. I like the idea of the Bird Cleric too. So even if you're just going tribal birds, like this is great to include, recur some stuff for you.
Yeah, I wonder if you could get a good sack, like free sack engine with historic stuff.
Oh yeah, there's I kind of looked at I think it was either Reddit or somewhere else where they've already got like infinite combos figured out with this guy where you can just cycle
Yeah.
it. So I mean, it's doable. It's very doable. You know, depending on which way you want to play it.
Yes.
Karn. So me and Lauren argue about this card a lot. He doesn't really care for it. I actually really like it a lot. I like it for the artifact build application. I like the -2. I love the -1. I even like the +1. +1's a little sketchy. I mean, you're giving them a choice, and you could just lose your Karn and then not be able to cast that spell ever. But I mean, if you think about it, it's part of the cost to draw 2 cards. Well, draw 1 card and then exile the other. So yeah, you might lose your best stuff, but who knows? You could maybe recur Karn and then just cast it.
Or what if, like, you know, if you think about it, if you do a little bit of like game theory type stuff, you could have a good card and a bad card. They're going to give you the bad card.
Yeah.
You could have 2 good cards. They're going to give you one of them.
Yeah.
And then you might whiff and have like two bad cards, and then they're off your deck. Like it's a win-win.
Yeah, like Scroll Rack and Sensei's Divining Top can help you kind of stack that, because it's just like, okay, well he's either getting a Darksteel Forge or a Memnarch this turn.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Or even if you dig and it's like, well, I have 3 lands. Like,
yeah,
I'll rearrange them, burn through 2 of them, get 1 of them, and then have 1 more in my way next turn. Top that away. You know. Yeah, he's strong.
Yeah. Not bad sequency. I think Lauren had a good point that he's better in multiples.
Yeah.
And that is true. So
yeah, it's certainly true.
I can see what he's saying. I wish they would have used the other artwork for him. I don't dislike this one, but just the way that Mythic Spoiler had it up the first time, I was just like,
so
wow,
sweet.
that was epic.
This kind of makes sense for Karn.
Yeah.
Like, but is that a saga behind him? Maybe.
It's the Stained Glass of Urza.
Oh, okay.
It might be I don't think it is actually. Now that I think about it.
Like, man, yeah, he's cool.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think of Karn as a 4-drop now.
Yeah.
Boy, he's good. He's super good.
And then we've got Thran Temporal Gateway. So an interesting card. It's like a Quicksilver Amulet for legendary and artifact permanents. So that's the thing that always gets me is I always think about the legendary side of it first, and then I realize that the artifact side of it matters most.
It seems so crazy. Like, how could they do that? But then this whole set's about it, so you gotta get used to it. I agree, though.
Like think about this with Darksteel Forge. You just
the first you said that
activate in Darksteel Forge without even casting it for 4 mana. No one can really respond to it unless they have like a Trick Bind or Stifle.
Yeah,
it's just like
I'm so used to like Goblin Welder, sack my like whatever, and then cheat in a Darksteel Forge, and with this,
I'll be looking for this card for my Durete deck for sure.
Oh yeah,
and my Jorah deck. Now that I think about it,
so good. And then, like you said, it could be the most disgusting legendary creature you could ever think of into play, and it changes the timing on some of our sagas.
Well, and it's not even legendary creatures; it's legendaries.
Oh yeah.
So like Planeswalker.
Yeah. Ooh yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah, like even these spells. I would think that would cast it, right? Yeah, legendary.
Legendaries.
Oh, permanent. It says permanent type, so
Okay.
we have to stay within those realms. That's
Still,
fair.
That's
fair.
really good. Like,
Yeah.
boy, that is sweet.
Yeah. I'm just gonna flash in this. What's the new pterodactyl?
Zatalpa?
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna flash in this Zotalpa at the end of turn and like wreck your face.
Yeah. Or even, jeez. I think it was a comma. Like, I guess you've got to cast him to get his untap trigger,
Yeah.
right? But still, for 4, like, and I guess we're not thinking, we're thinking old school because we're thinking
Yeah.
creatures, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Darksteel Forge like takes the cake right there.
Yeah, I mean, what else? I mean, like that's like the peak of the artifact line if you
Yeah.
think about it that way. But there's so many other things outside of that that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yep.
Like you can flash a Nicol Bolas with this,
Yeah.
and just like gain control of something or destroy something or Ugin.
Yeah. It's so cool.
Okay, this needs to go into my Eldrazi deck too.
Just get multiple copies, right?
Yeah. It's like I told Eric earlier. I think this can become a quick commander staple.
Just
I
as
mean-
much as a Quicksilver or
Oh,
Elvish
yeah.
Piper.
Yeah.
Like, people love to cheat things into play, and
So
they pick the greedy ones.
get your copies now.
Yep, that's right.
Oath of Teferi, I love this card. I have a Super Friends Atraxa deck, and this is just going right in there. Like, I don't even care. It's going to probably kick another Planeswalker out, but I just do not care. Activating Planeswalker abilities more than once a turn is already broken as hell.
Yeah.
So if you think about this and the old Teferi, like, untap a bunch of stuff, untap a bunch of stuff, yeah.
And then you could even do the Chain Veil in there.
Yeah.
Like, it's, and you could, well, I guess it's a legendary enchantment, so you couldn't make a copy, but
No.
you could, is the Chain Veil is legendary as well,
Yep.
isn't it? Okay.
Yep.
So that ends there. Never mind.
I mean, still, you could probably just win the game right there.
Oh, yeah.
You could probably get to ultimates
If you have
pretty
3
easily,
activations of your Planeswalkers, you
Yeah.
better win the game.
especially with the Chain Veil. Like,
Oh, yeah.
if you have Chain Veil, Teferi, and this, you're gonna win the game because that will probably get you to ultimate at least a few of your Planeswalkers.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Oh,
So great. Even if you're just making, like, beasts or, like, dealing 1 or something, like, yeah. Planeswalkers, it's a free spell.
yeah. So one of my choices for Saga, we've got the Eldest Reborn. I actually really just like the line of play here. I know it's like pretty fragile because somebody could destroy it at any moment, but really even if you just trigger the first one, it's not that bad. So each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. I love those type of edict effects. Numbers 2 is each opponent discards a card. Not bad at all.
good.
And then number 3 is put target creature card or target creature or planeswalker card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. And keep in mind that's any graveyard, any choice, yours, theirs, whatever. So
Pretty fair for 5. And
Yeah.
then waiting 2 turns.
yeah, I mean I'll play it.
Yeah. Very cool.
And then we've got the our instant and sorcery one. So return target instant card from your graveyard to your hand, valuable. Return target sorcery card, valuable. Until end of turn, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. Extremely valuable. I mean, I look at this as like a 3-part spell for 5 mana, and I want to do all those for 5 mana.
Yeah.
Like, even if it is over 3 turns.
Yeah, really, that's good. Like, I kind of think of them as, it's almost like a board game thing.
Yeah.
Like, on this turn, do this. Or like a Planeswalker that you must do these in this order. Like, and the fact, like you said, they're kind of vulnerable, but, I mean, like, enchantment removal, who plays enchantment removal? Like, not too many people. I think people worry about artifacts quite a lot,
Yeah. Agreed.
So, yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, they're different. Like I said, I think it's, as we were talking about earlier, they're very specific. So like these are only really fitting into certain types of decks. Obviously, you're going to be running this in like a Talrun /
Oh, yeah.
Maybe even like what's the Mizzix?
Oh, yeah.
Decks
Storm
like that.
type.
Whereas the other one's very specific to like a Marin or like something like that. Moltrotha.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, just interesting. And this is another pet project for me. So fungal plots. So good enchantments like this. Night Soil was my previous choice. This is actually just straight up replacing Night Soil. I mean, it's just a colorless and a green exile a creature card from your graveyard, create a 1/1 sapperling. Like, you're not hitting your opponents, but usually you're just tossing creatures in the bin anyway.
Yeah.
Especially towards late game. And I actually really like the second ability a lot too. So sacrifice 2 saplings, gain 2 life, and draw a card. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the deck's all about, is just creating those sapperling tokens. So this
Like,
is
mulching
awesome.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. And I could see this going in any, like, Carador build or Gov. Like, any sapperlings are disposable, and this card
Yeah.
shows it.
Yeah. And then me and Eric were talking about this one earlier, and Lauren actually brought this one up to me. Uh, Obviously, a auto include in Brago. I mean, you can flicker this, draw 2 cards, comes right back onto Brago, gives him hexproof. Pretty bonkers there.
Yes.
And I think this is, again, more of a pet project. I don't really see a whole lot of other applications for it, because it's more like you got to get your commander killed in order, or your legendary permanent killed in order to really benefit from this, and it dies and this goes away. So it's like a really slow, like, divination.
Yeah.
Still, yeah, I think the Brago application is just enough for me to say, I want this card. I want it in foil, and I want it now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that might make somebody think twice, even if like it's just something like not as good. Enchanted permanent, you know, it doesn't have to be a commander. Like,
yeah, that's true.
You could keep it safe, and then somebody might be like, okay, I don't know if I want to blow up this guy's soul ring anymore, or something. Like,
yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah. Then we've got Yawgmoth's Vile Offering. This is really my only choice from this cycle. The Temporal Sundering is really cool. I mean, taking next turn is awesome, but it's very, like, we've seen this. The Urza Destroy All Non-Legendary Permanents one is also really cool, but I don't think it's a great board wipe for commander players, whereas this is just ridiculously awesome. I mean, you get to destroy a creature or a planeswalker at sorcery speed. That's okay. But then you get to return a creature from the creature or planeswalker from the graveyard under your control, or to your control. Sorry, I'm thinking wrong. So like you just toss something you really want in your bin, you kill something of theirs, you bring something of yours back. For 5 mana, that's pretty good.
And it's from a graveyard.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So it's even better than I thought.
Yeah, it's like kill that, now it's mine. Like.
Well, and the story behind this card too, like I didn't know about any of that lore. Like the fact that it's a copy of Hannah, like that's what the little white dot is. That's actually like the clone of Hannah that Yawgmoth was trying to bargain with Geralf or Gerard. Sorry, I'm getting names mixed up.
Or Gerard, rather.
To give him Urza's head. Like it's just like what the heck? And I didn't know any of that lore happened.
Boy,
like,
I didn't know either.
I don't know historic lore very much at all. I'm more modern, I guess. But I'm sure Chris could tell us all about this.
Sure. Yeah. Do you know why he cared for Urza's head? Obviously, they're.
I don't know. Well, Urza was still like alive.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think they were just bitter enemies. And he just wanted to have him. I guess. I don't know.
Interesting.
So just an interesting card. I think the effect, mono black. I'll be putting this in my Erebos deck for sure. Where else it'll go, I'm not really sure, but I'll be looking for copies for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a really decent card. Like, I don't think the legendary sorcery type part or thing has much to do with the fact that this is a really strong card.
Yeah. Well, and if you think about it, I play Rise from the Grave or whatever that card is already, the one that essentially does half of this.
Yeah.
So this just replaces that card in those decks, essentially.
And odds are you're going to have your commander, like, as long as it's not a 6-drop or something, like, what a great card.
Yeah. Just really cool. Primeval's Glorious Rebirth. So automatically this is 5-color legendary tribal. Like there are a lot of people that are already just brewing that deck again, just because we're getting so much for it already. But this is just automatically going in once again Atraxa Super Friends, because just return all my planeswalkers to play, please. Like that's a ridiculous line to play. Yeah.
You think of like Arvad, he's black white, he's like legendary tribal, even if it's just black white. And then like you said, I completely forgot about planeswalkers. You could add any sort of like legendary artifacts or whatever. Like this card, think how good is Open the Vault, Steve? Real good.
Real good.
And now you get it with the legendaries, which are usually good too.
Well, and it's not even like a scrap mastery effect. Like I could have definitely seen that on this card and it would be fair. You know what I mean? Like a living death type effect. Okay, I'll sacrifice all the legends in play to put all the legends back from my graveyard into play. But no, it doesn't even. You don't even have to do that. You just return all the legendaries that are in your bin and just like go for it from there.
That's sweet.
So yeah, going back to Atraxa, Chain Veil, that enchantment, all the planeswalkers, like nice board wipe, bro. Nice planar cleansing.
Now it's all back.
Jeez. Good luck, sir.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Great art too.
Yeah. And then final parting. Just a really good tutor. I mean, you get to tutor up 2 cards, put one in your graveyard, one in your hand. So it's like Gerard's Orders, but just mono black. So it kind of gives a little bit of flexibility that way. Because there's been quite a few mono black decks that I wish I could have put Drawd's orders into, and now this is that version. It costs one more, but really, whatever. I'll go with it. It's good enough. And then Cabal Stronghold, I believe this is my last choice. I know a lot of people are poo-pooing on this one just because it's not Cabal Coffers, but I don't know what the hell the complaint is here.
Really? Like,
really? Yeah, I mean, if you think about, so for example, my Erebos deck probably runs 25 basic swamps. I mean, that's a lot of basic swamps. I mean, you're going to have to, have a few on here to make it worth it.
Right.
But, I don't know, just...
Even if this taps for... If it taps for 5,
yeah,
that's worth it. Like, yeah,
And
that's pretty odd.
as an addition with Cabal Coffers, like,
Yeah,
I don't understand the complaint about this one. Yeah, it's not Cabal Coffers, but could they have really printed Cabal Coffers again? No.
and just include it anyway.
Yeah, really.
Like, shell out. I don't know what Cabal Coffers is at right now.
I don't know.
It's probably like $15 plus, but it's
Yeah.
like, and so is Urborg's pretty expensive. But there's a line of play here.
Yeah.
And I would kill for this in any other color.
Yeah, I mean,
Magic
really.
Its land. Like, like, come on.
Well, it's kind of cool that we're getting back to those types of cycles because, I mean, we got the Cradle and the Ixalan. We got the Academy Ruin, or the Tolarian Academy in the Ixalan set as well. So, I mean, we've got those two. Now we've got the Cabal Coffers. Like, what are we... We're missing, I guess, a white version, which hasn't really been one.
Yeah, like, if you think of big white lands, you'd think of the Serra Sanctum.
Yeah.
But
So for enchantments.
artifacts, enchantments, excuse me.
Has there ever been a red one? Like a red version?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
If you think of big red lands, like, the one that comes to my mind is like Valakut, know, but obviously that's not in that realm.
Yeah.
I don't know about red.
Yeah, it's kind of out of that cycle.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's got so many like seething song effects and stuff like that, which I guess black does too. But
And then, like, what for green? Like, Yavimaya Hollow, or
yeah,
again, that's I guess Gaia's Cradle.
yeah, that's the one that comes to mind right away.
Yeah.
But
I'm
Well-
a chump, so
well, and we've got Nykthos now too, which once again, Nykthos just goes into your mono black deck because most things have a lot of black pips. Like if
true.
you think about it, like Phyrexian Obliterator.
it's really easy to build around.
yeah, it's yeah,
And it's interesting, like you said, you're glad that they're kind of doing that.
yeah,
I'm glad that a lot of this seems like, not that it's a good thing necessarily, but I like that they're saying play Knights,
yeah,
play Graveyard Land, play, like, I mean, play mono black. It feels like Mutilate again, or any of that stuff. It's super, super cool.
yeah.
I was looking through. I wish there was a cycle or something as powerful, because this is the only rare land besides the duels in the set
So far,
Yeah, so far.
I doubt there would be another one. But
I think
just
you're
in
right.
case.
I think that'd be neat if they finish something like this. Having another cool producing land or utility land for each color, who could complain?
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. It's yeah. I almost want to say like white should have an effect like Gaia's Cradle, just trigger off or activate off creatures or whatever. But it doesn't make sense really when you think about it, because you don't want another Gaia's Cradle just in a different color like that. Just doesn't even feel right.
Green and white. Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Here comes Risk the Redeemed.
Yeah.
Something. Even if it's like like, I love the, what is it, Blighted Steppe.
Yeah.
Sack, gain life equal to number of creatures.
Yeah.
That's a white land. It kind of stinks that it's like in this roundabout way of doing it, but that's a really all those ones are pretty decent. The green one's okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it would be cool to see what they'd come up with for the others.
Yeah, I like this set. Now that we've gone through our picks and everything like that, we might as well just talk about Dominaria as a whole. It is definitely commander focused, like you can tell, like right off the start. And I don't know if that's just because they're trying to push Brawl or what's going on there, but that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, like, I think you said it on the stream and we joked about it, like, what are the kids playing? Oh, they're playing Commanda. Like, give them Commandas, So, yeah, it's cool.
I mean, overall, it's like we said, it feels very safe.
Yeah, it kind of does.
We're not necessarily reinventing the wheel too many places here. I mean, there are some cards that are looking like they're turning some abilities on their heads, which I think is awesome. But it's not like we're looking at, like, what's a good example? I'm trying to think of like something that was totally different. Like I think Innistrad was really the last time we really saw something that was like super
like flip cards.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
Kaladesh was a
I
cool
was gonna
set.
say Kaladesh is neat, but in vehicles,
Yeah, vehicles would be a good example.
I'm thinking of the blocks. Amonkhet, I wouldn't say Amonkhet
No.
block. I wouldn't say Ixalan necessarily. Kaladesh, Kanze,
Yeah.
Theros. I think the gods and devotion were kind of cool.
Yeah,
but
that was
not,
different.
But yeah, like I would probably say, and I'm trying to even think of mechanics and stuff.
It might just be because we've been playing this game for too long, so nothing seems new to us,
Yeah.
which is totally possible as well.
Yeah.
We might be jaded.
And like you said, I'm glad that even if it isn't the new, it feels new because they say now we need to try it. You need to, if you want this to work, you got to build it a certain way, which is neat. So.
Well, and you know, safe isn't necessarily a bad thing either. Like, I feel like especially after Amonkhet, they may have needed to do something like that.
Yeah.
And we'll probably look at this, you know, in years to come as like a set that was just it's odd. It almost really feels like a powered up core set.
Mm-hmm.
You know
I
what
could see
mean?
that. Yeah.
So anyway, I think I mean I don't really have anything else to add to this.
No, I think we've really talked about it. You know, like we said earlier, there's a few more cards to spoil.
Yeah,
we'll see.
yeah. We're ending on kind of like a.
Well, that's it.
Yeah,
That's all, folks.
So anyway, as always, guys, thanks for sticking with us. I hope you liked our choices. I know some of them are a little bit goofy, but like I said, there are our choices.
They're
so
like totally us.
don't
yeah.
murder us for not picking the best cards out of the set for Commander. I mean, really, that's more everybody's personal preference, I guess.
Tell us your favorite.
Yeah,
'Cause
really.
We've had a lot of good comments of people saying, "Oh my God, I've got 2 brews for this." Like, you know.
Well, not to, I guess, keep going, but like something that I keep getting is like people are excited about very specific commanders in here, which I think is great. Like just like me with Slimefoot, like I lost my mind when I saw that card, and it's not even that ridiculous.
No.
Like I saw people losing their minds over like Halar, the Fire Fletcher. Like they just lost their shit. They were just like, "Oh my god,
It's so good! I've always wanted this."
Yeah, and like Sisei is another, or the Shauna is another great example of that. Like people have been looking for a commander that's very like go tall, go wide, you know. So there's something for everybody here.
I think there really is. Like, yeah, I hope this set kind of intrigues everybody in one way or the other. And like you said, I don't know if it'll be a huge set. There are some really great cards, but it might feel like a Legend someday. Not as bad, but it'd be like, oh, I just remember that's a set with a whole bunch of stuff. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, you open it, you probably find one of each card. Well, not, you know, in one box or whatever.
Yeah.
But you're trying to find one copy of pretty much all these cards, which is a great for like collecting thing. Excuse me. So like if you think about like putting together a cube with this, like it's just like
yeah. Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. Also, God, sorry, I thought we were ending this, but not really.
Just do a transition every time.
Yeah. So like speaking of cube, this set fills a lot of holes in my opinion. Like it fills like a lot of like I needed a third Boros commander that's actually good enough to throw into my commander cube. There's Fire Song and Sunspear. Holy crap, throw him in, you know what I mean?
Is it artifact guy?
Yeah,
yeah.
I can't even imagine what foils of that card are going to be like. I'm curious if I'm just like losing my mind over nothing, because like I talked to other people about that card and they're just like, eh.
I think it is pretty mundane, but it's just like it's like a loaded gun, and you're just like, somebody's gonna pick that up and just kill the board.
I feel like no one understands.
No,
like, I mean, there are obviously people that get it, but I feel like the majority of people are just like, I don't know what you're freaking out about, Steve, but I mean, God,
it's really good.
Same with like Tatiova. Like, I just lose my mind every time I see that card. I just can't even believe it's a thing.
Easy, Steve.
I know. Okay, before I roll off into another topic, I think we're gonna go ahead and say bye. So anyway, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
We've talked about it. We'll see you next time. Oh, I forgot that's not working.